Okay, so I should do a sound check, right?
If you have a moment.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing.
Hello, my dear. How are you? Are you
I
good?
just get use a very basic.
This is on. I can hear myself. It's on. Asaf, can you hear me? Is this good? Sound good? Testing 1, 2, 3. Good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, can you hear me okay? Perfect. I'm not going to fidget with this anymore then. In that case, we're going to leave it right where it is. Hey, everybody. Say hello to the person around you. Say Shabbat Shalom and welcome. I'm Rabbi Jessica Graff, joined here by Rabbi George Altshuler and Noah Levy. Welcome home. We're so happy to have you back with us. Jonathan Dimmick, who's been a very visible person here over these last few days and weeks, or at least audible, a very audible person, our amazing music director. And I want to introduce you all to soon-to-be Rabbi Shira Kraus. Stand up, wave, take a bow. This is our brand spanking new, just arrived in San Francisco rabbinic intern. We're so excited and delighted to have Shira with us this year once a month. She'll be around participating in lots of things in the community. So make sure you get a chance to meet her. You'll be at things with her, but welcome her in, show her what Sheretz Israel is all about. And we really look forward to learning with you, from you, singing with you. Shira is a very musical, soon-to-be rabbi, so that's wonderful, because as you know, I can't sing on key at all. A few announcements as we begin our service. You have your leaflet, so I won't remind you of everything that it says, but I want to say that our oneg tonight is hosted by Robert Reichman in memory of Molly Millman. Thank you so much. And it's going to take place in the foyer downstairs, so please join us following services. If you registered for the dinner tonight, that is at 7:30 in Newman Hall, please come see us over there if you registered. If not, you can talk to Peter. He'll be downstairs. Tomorrow morning at 9:15, please join me and lots of other people online to study Kohelet, Ecclesiastes. It should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. 9:15 to 10:15, we'll get on to schmooze a little bit and say hello right before that. Lots of other cool things coming up. Rabbi Altshuler is teaching or leading a podcast monthly discussion starting the first Tuesday of October, the 3rd. Check that out. And in 2 weeks, Alana Kaufman, who is the executive director of the Jews of Color Initiative, will be coming to speak at services and then give a lecture at a dinner following. Alana grew up here, was in my Hebrew school class for 500 years, along with her twin brother David, both of whom are doing really interesting things out in the world. So come and check out that conversation. Lots of other interesting classes and things coming up, so I'll let you take a look at that, and I'll point out that Noah is going to be teaching intermediate Hebrew on Sundays again. She's been an awesome Hebrew teacher for us, for kids and adults. And you're going to be doing the kids' classes on Tuesdays, adult classes on Sundays. So if you've always wanted to learn Hebrew, now's a good time to do that. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Art Klein, who is going to share a word of welcome from our Board of Trustees.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
So on behalf of the board, I want to welcome you to services. Thank you. I can also, a lot of pressure. Okay. You know what I'll just say is it's great to be here today on the eve of Sukkot. Yes. And right after the High Holy Days. And it was really inspirational because although this is always a wonderful place, the High Holy Days were so special because this room was so full of energy and people, and it was just inspirational. So it was a real privilege to be here then, and it's a privilege to be here with all of you now. And then there's one final privilege I want to mention. We have a special guest, I'm hoping it's okay to say, who's giving the drash tonight. Please. Absolutely. So Gordon Gladstone is giving our drash tonight. And when I agreed to speak, I didn't realize that was going to be what's happening. And it's a real privilege to be here and acknowledge that. Gordon predates me, but the word on the street is that Gordon was absolutely the right person at the right time to come join and lead Sheretz Israel. And what I could say is I've really appreciated your blend of wit and energy and execution, and we've been very lucky to have you, and I can't wait to hear what you're going to say. So thank you, Gordon. Thank all of you, and one more time, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Yes, so much to celebrate tonight. It is Shabbat. It is Chag, the beginning of Sukkot, which comes 5 days after Yom Kippur every single year. Everybody's a little tired, but it is such an uplifting and fabulous holiday that it's my favorite. Anyway, see, I'm wearing my Sukkot shoes. See, I wear them every year. So it's my favorite. I even have shoes for it. So, Gordon and Jody Gladstone, we would like to honor you with the lighting of our Shabbat candles on this Shabbat immediately following your retirement. See, you can look around. Look, so, Gordon, see those light bulbs are out? And then you can say, I don't care. Right, not my problem, don't care. All the things I'm going to point out, don't care. You could just be here in our kahal.
Yeah, the tali tote out front also are like just a mess.
Don't care.
Yeah,
right. But we hope this will be your home where you don't have to worry about light bulbs. Now, going forward, you can actually enjoy being here.
Lovely. Oh. And these are the matches that never work. I know that because people complain about them.
No, I think these are the ones that do work.
These are the ones that
Yeah.
do work?
Yeah, that's why Zach took him home after Havdalah the other day. I had to bring him back because
Your 5-year-old?
he's 7, yeah.
Oh, he's 7?
He's like, these work. I like
Wait,
these.
do you have a tween daughter now?
Almost.
I'm so sorry.
Will you introduce Jody? Because I think maybe some people don't know that she's a Jewish professional in her own right, an educator. Tell us about what Jody does.
Well, this is my wife of 30 some odd years. We got married when we were 10, in case you're wondering. And she is the preschool director at Congregation Beth El in Berkeley, and formerly the artist in residence at Pinat Shorashim at Kibbutz Gezer, Israel, and many, many other things, and deserves more than half the credit for any successes our children ever have had or will have.
Thank you, Gordon.
Awesome. Do you want to say, you can speak on your own behalf if you want to share anything else. Well, who's he? Tell us about him.
I think you know him. No, this is really an honor. I've always loved being in this room, and I haven't made my way across the Bay so many times to be a part of the congregation, but every time it was a joy. So I'm really thankful for that. And I don't know, I mean, I feel like I know this place because of Gordon, and it's just a pleasure being here, and I'm sorry it's going to be the last, I mean, maybe not the last time, but, the last time for a while.
Well, we're so glad to have you both here tonight and to be able to celebrate all of your accomplishments over six and a half
6 years.
years here at Truth Israel.
Yeah.
We made it through the high holidays, so now we can.
I thought you said made it through COVID.
Oh, I don't know about that, but we made it.
High holidays.
But we made it through the high holidays. So, as Art said, we'll hear more from Gordon in a few minutes about our Torah portion. But we'll continue with our Kabbalat Shabbat on page 13 in our Sidurim, Shiru Ladonai.
We continue to welcome in the spirit of Shabbat with Lachado D, which can be found on page 20. We'll read verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and on the 9th verse, we'll rise to welcome in the spirit of Shabbat.
המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד השם לתפארת ולתהילה לך אדוני לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נשוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך אדוני לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה. Number 5. התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך אדוני לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה. עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך אדוני לקראת קלה
We remain standing if we are able and turn to page 28 as we call each other to prayer with the Baruch Hu. On Sukkot, it is traditional to read from the book of Ecclesiastes, And this afternoon, I had the pleasure of studying some of Ecclesiastes with Donald, who is standing back there. And when we were studying it together, I realized that there's many different ways to read Ecclesiastes. It can be read in a very pessimistic way, or perhaps a more optimistic way. And one thing that really struck me as I was studying it with Donald is the awe of Ecclesiastes and the awe that there is in nature. So I want to read, as we prepare for the Shema, this moment of awe, I want to read from Ecclesiastes chapter 1. One generation goes, another comes, but the earth remains the same forever. The sun rises and the sun sets and glides back to where it rises. Southward blowing, turning northward, ever turning blows the wind. On its rounds the wind returns. All streams flow into the sea. Yet the sea is never full. To the place from which they flow, the streams flow back again. All such things are wearisome. No man can ever state them. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear enough of hearing. Only that shall happen which shall happen, only that occur which has occurred. There is nothing new beneath the sun.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. I would now like to invite up anybody in the room who identifies as a teenager to lead us in the Ve'ahavta. And Jake, I saw that eye roll. That definitely means you're a teenager. The Ve'ahavta can be found on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בעם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Thank you all very much. We continue now with Mi Hamocha, which can be found on page 40.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la la la. ומי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה אלי אנו Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
In a moment, we'll sing the words of Hashkivenu, a very appropriate prayer for this time of year because we pray for a sukkah of shalom, a shelter of peace. Hashkivenu can be found on page 43.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom. Vehamidenu shomrenu lechaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, and we wake to morning light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen, amen, amen.
We have arrived at the moment of our service in which we pray for the healing of our loved ones, healing whether that be of mind, body, or spirit. The Misha Berach can be found on page 253.
Sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
We pray this evening for Jim Blattner, Dr. Marion Blumberg, Bob Fonero, Will Gaines, Stephen Gerbsman, Marcia Gruskin, William Kurian, William Lowenberg, Philip Rosenberg, Agnes Rothblatt, Judy Wexler, and those whom we mention now. moment, we will rise for the Amidah, for the central prayer of our service. We'll say the first couple blessings together, but then we go into silent prayer. And during that silent prayer, I encourage you to look at page 56, because there's a special blessing for Sukkot that we say during the Amidah. But first, we say the first few blessings, so please rise and turn to page 46.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
So for the 6 years that Gordon was our executive director, taking care of everything in this building, I asked him almost every week, would you like to give the Devar Torah? And for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, would you like to write a sermon? Kept turning me down for 6 years. He kept saying, no, I'm taking care of other things, no thanks. But when we learned earlier this week that Gordon actually had an interest in giving the Devar Torah, it was this very exciting moment. I guess this is like human psychology, right? When not required, it seems fun. So we're really excited. Gordon said this is the executive director's drush. Something about this time of year and Sukkot and Sukkahs kind of resonates with executive director. So I look forward to hearing what Gordon has to teach us about, I don't know, about this holiday, about our Torah portion, about something relating to Judaism and where we find ourselves. So thank you for being our teacher tonight.
Tonight's drash, of course, is about the importance of refilling the toilet paper rolls in a timely fashion. Furthermore, I have some comments about accrual accounting. No. God didn't build a sukkah. Thus, Sukkot is the synagogue executive director's holiday. Not to say that we have the day off, of course, but rather is a holiday free from divine intervention. There are 3 pilgrimage festivals in Judaism: Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot. These mark the moments in ancient times that people made the trek up to Jerusalem to offer their individual sacrifices at the temple. After the destruction of the temple in 70 CE, the rabbis reinvented all of them. Passover, that had traditionally marked the new year and the planting season, became a celebration of the exodus from Egypt. And the Seder, as we celebrate it today, was actually codified in the period the Talmud is written, hundreds of years after the temple fell. Shavuot, once a celebration of first harvests, and especially the wheat harvest, became an observance of the delivery of the Torah to the Israelites huddled at the foot of Mount Sinai. No longer the festival of first fruits, it became a night of study punctuated with dairy-based treats. Not always a treat for Jews, but dairy nonetheless. Sukkot, however, defied such a transformation. Sukkot is still thought of as a harvest holiday. The booths that we inhabit for meals, or more traditionally for the whole week, are decorated with the produce of autumn. The holiday observance is not meaningfully different than that which would have been celebrated with the temple was still standing, with the exception that we don't have a procession of goats going to the altar. 2,000 years ago, in the thin period between the crops ripening and the first rains, people raced to complete the harvest. Working from first light to darkness left no time to be wasted, traveling from the village to their terrace plots in the narrow canyons of the Judean hills. Small huts were thrown up for shelter from the hot midday sun and the cold night winds as the crops were gathered. A trip across the Levant today reveals similar structures. They're now made of corrugated steel that provide shade and shelter for people, machines, and harvest. The modern Hebrew word for such a structure is, rather unsurprisingly, a sukkah. With its emphasis on construction, decor, and catering, Sukkot is an exercise in tachlis, or practicality, a perfect match for synagogue executive directors, with their focus on the nuts and bolts rather than the divine. It was well after Sukkot 6 years ago that I arrived at Shereth Israel. I was, at that time, like someone who had just found a Victorian that hadn't been renovated yet. Armed with years of working in Jewish agencies, I was eager to put those ideas to work as Shereth Israel sought to reassert itself after years of the retrofit and 2 rabbinic transitions. I was like a character on an HGTV show who was trying to discern how many layers of paint he will have to strip away to reveal what must be mahogany crown molding. Around the dining room, of course. Of course, as television has taught us, the plan to knock down the parlor walls and create an open floor plan kitchen reveals wiring that is woefully out of date and plumbing that is equally frail. Rabbi, does this sound familiar? Yes. The crown molding, it turns out to be plaster, and it's not even original. The fantasy in my head of how would we project the vibrancy of Shereth Israel to the thousands of Jews in San Francisco who were unaffiliated ran smack into the reality of standing on a rooftop in driving rain to open up clogged gutters while water poured into the building below me. Even without the interruption of COVID, each year and season brought a new diversion that required immediate attention and repair, which isn't to say there weren't successes. What Rabbi Graff and I codenamed Raise the Dorsal Fin, an effort to be more visible in the Jewish and non-Jewish community, bore fruit. We became a sought-after host by the American Jewish Committee, the New Israel Fund, the Israeli Consulate, and many others. We hosted Mayor Breed, State Senator Wiener, and a variety of scholars and minor dignitaries. Our bus ad campaign was a minor viral moment, and we opened the Shereth Israel Preschool, a long-time dream, this fall. Our religious school became Studio at, and there's a space between the at sign on either side. It's branded. Shereth Israel, with an emphasis on learning through experience rather than books. We rebuilt the staff team to correspond to our new reality, including a space rental program that even during COVID continued to make significant contributions to the budget. After many iterations, we now have a growing young adult community, providing another entry point into Jewish life. Synagogues change course slowly. The new direction, often only visible when you step back. As I reflect on the last 6 years, I can see the turns that were not visible in the moment. When I stop to recall the state of things upon my arrival, it seems simply incredible. There are some things we won't control. COVID, wildfires, the changing economic fortunes of San Francisco, just to name a few. It is useful to remind ourselves while we have self-determination, we aren't free to act in unlimited ways. As a steward of an institution that was established in 1851 and in this building since 1905, there is an understanding that we are all just one of a cast of players across the stage. Even these buildings will not last forever. Nothing is permanent. Each of us leaves a mark that is eventually worn away by the passage of time. To understand that is to experience a moment of humility, to know that nothing is everlasting. It is something our ancestors knew well as they gathered under their fragile Sukkot on the edges of their field, hoping to beat the odds for another year of food and security. And having done so successfully, they traveled to Jerusalem to give thanks for their good fortune. As the Compendium of Jewish Wisdom, Pirkei Avot, states, the day is short, the work plentiful, the workers lazy. The reward is great, the master of the house is insistent. It is not your duty to finish the work, but nor are you free to neglect it. May Shereth Israel go from strength to strength and be served by capable stewards. It has been my great pleasure and honor to be one, and I will miss this community greatly. Chag Sukkot Sameach. Let's not take the cue sheet with me.
We will miss so many things about you, Gordon, here at Congregation Shereth Israel. I speak for myself and for others, but for myself when I say I will particularly miss your crazy Israeli phrases with which you pepper all kinds of conversations, and then we have to stop a heated discussion and say, what does that mean exactly? Often followed up by a crazy Arabic phrase, which I really have no idea what it means. I need a little help unpacking that one. I will particularly miss your extremely helpful explanations of modern Israeli politics, which you have a nuanced understanding of that I can never hope to equal, and a passion for that I probably will prevent me from ever understanding every single minister's inner workings. And I will particularly miss hours and hours and hours of giggling when the day has been so long that we're so exhausted that there's nothing left to do but to sit in the front office in the almost dark and then just reflect for another several hours on the 12-hour day, which has just passed. So thank you for being an incredible partner, a leader for all of us in building and moving Shereth Israel to the place where we are now, a place of excitement and growth, looking towards the future. As Gordon Gladstone says, up and to the right. That's where we're going, up and to the right. So thank you for your help with all of that. In addition to having Gordon and Jody here tonight, there are many other joys, Shira for one, other simchas, and a Zach who's going to be super helpful, thank you. Other simchas, happy things that are going on in people's lives that you'd like to share with us, please raise a hand. Okay, the microphone will come to Jacqueline next. Elizabeth.
I'm very, very proud of my sister, Victoria, whose book, 30 Years in the Making, is published by Princeton University Press next week. It's called American Classicist, The Life and Loves of Edith Hamilton. And it's the first ever biography of this very remarkable, long-lived woman. You may have read her books, which have been continuously in print for over 80 years, about Greek and Roman mythology and literature. So
cool.
Very, very proud of her.
Mazal tov. Jacqueline had her hand up over here. I'll say as the microphone is coming over, hearing you sing Yesh Kochavim in your beautiful voice and duet with Jonathan in our Yisker service was gorgeous. It was such a privilege, and just being able to hear you fill this dome, both of you together, was so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I was just going to say that it was such an honor to sing this with Jonathan, and it was very exciting for me to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have to have you guys sing it together again for a Yisker service so people will, we had a lot of people here, but many people will be able to hear you knowing how beautiful it sounds.
The services during the high holidays went well, and the choir did really well.
Yeah, for sure. Services were beautiful, thanks to, in huge part, Jonathan, Simon, who filled our dome with beautiful music, Rabbi Altshuler, who taught us so beautifully, and all of you being here, our choir, everybody together. So it was really beautiful. Thanks, Maddie. Other simchas, celebrations. I'd say those are pretty good ones. Well, in honor of all of the things coming up, like our opportunity to go be together in the sukkah downstairs, I invite you to stand and to join with Noah in thanking God for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this time together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen.
We remain standing and turn to page 282 for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Please be seated. We turn to page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing. On this day, I just want to acknowledge Senator Dianne Feinstein, who served the people of California and the United States for a very long time. She was often seen in this beautiful sanctuary over the years, as this was her congregation for quite a long time, and her memory will certainly be a blessing. I also want to acknowledge, before we remember individual people, that when we go downstairs to our sukkah, the schach, the beautiful palm fronds that cover the top of our sukkah, they come from our gorgeous cemetery, Hills of Eternity. And every year, if you've been there ever, you've seen beautiful palm trees standing over kind of throughout the cemetery. But every year, the gardeners and caretakers at Hills of Eternity trim the palm fronds at this time. They have to be trimmed, and it's a perfect time to trim them because we get to bring those palm fronds from our cemetery, which is an extension of our community. We bring them here and we cover our sukkah with those beautiful branches that come from the cemetery as we bring into the sukkah those ushpizin. It's traditional to bring guests into the sukkah. And our guests are the guests of the generations who come to be with us, people who we knew, people who we didn't know, people we remember really fondly, people maybe whose stories are just out there and we don't even know exactly who they are. But they come to be with us in our hearts, but also physically in our sukkah with this beautiful schach, which happens to be my favorite Hebrew word, but with our schach that covers the top of our sukkah. So when you go downstairs, just look up, and as you look at the stars, as you look at the sky, think about the generations that came before us, that continue to be with us here tonight and all the time. If you are observing Shiva or Shloshim, the first 7 or 30 days of mourning, please stand and share a name with us. Ben, you're remembering your mom. If you're observing the first year of mourning, please stand also and share a name with us.
Pablo Bernal. Russia. My sister Johnny.
The perpetual memorial in our congregation is Sarah Ethel Epstein. If you are observing a yahrzeit on this Shabbat, please stand as your loved one's name is read. Ursula D. Elgart, Jerome Feldman, Jack Fessel, Sandy Frankel-Friedman, Irving Katz, Irving Koss, Maria Kotlairova, William Landy, Sidel Rosenbaum, Mary Rosen. If there are other yahrzeits that we observe on this Shabbat, please stand and share a name with us. Zichronan livracha, may the memory of the righteous be a blessing. Please stand with our mourners as one community. We turn to page 209. thank you, 94, for Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal ve'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei ve'amlich machutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'almei almaya, yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen.
Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
We turn to page 5 for Kiddush, and I want to prepare all the kids. I hope will join us up here for Motzi in just a moment. So, Zach, come down. We're going to need you for Motzi with all the other kids. Come on down. Noah's going to lead us on page 5 for Kiddush.
Invite Ben over. I want to invite my husband to join the Kiddush. It's been a hard week. Okay. Here, do it. I can switch with you. All right, here you go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam boreh pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'vratzon hinchilanu zikaron למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת אמן. לחיים.
Ella, you're ready. Ari and Zach and Avi. And who else do we have here?
Ella's
We've got a couple.
challah.
Yeah, whoever didn't qualify for Ve'ahavta because they're not yet teens, come on up. Come on. Come hang out. We're not doing the Ve'ahavta. Ruth, what? Okay, Ruth, can you tell us what kind of a challah you made?
I can. And if I guess the people at home want to hear too. Because it is Sukkot and it celebrates the fall harvest, I made a fall harvest challah, butternut squash and sage, and that's Chag Sameach. Shabbat Shalom.
Chag Sameach.
Wow. You want to take that off?
Wow.
The braiding got a little funky this week, but
That looks amazing.
That was amazing. Wow.
Yeah, it's a
that's
sage
sage.
leaf. Looks amazing. Okay.
You're going to eat an entire
Let's
leaf.
all sing it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Who's going to go for it?
Grab a piece, guys.
All right, I'll grab a piece.
Do it.
Of course. Are you Alex's brother? Are you Alex's brother? What's your name? Zach? Nice to meet you. No. Have you ever been here before? Yeah. I think I've seen you around. Impressive. How old are you? Oh, very close. What's your name?
Shabbat Shalom. Please join us downstairs for an oneg.
Are you new around here? I don't think I've seen you before. Sarah.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Gee, look at that. Wow. Yeah.
Please join us in the sukkah. Our rabbinic intern is going to be in the sukkah, helping us to shake the lulav and the etrog, singing some music. So please join